I have been very reluctant to share my weight loss journey because, one, I think it's kind of embarrassing. And also because it's not really the content of my channel. My channel is about homesteading, living frugally, um, crafting, finding good deals, living, you know, um, below our means, right? Um, and being creative and stuff. So it's not really my content per se. However, I see a lot of people doing like GLP-1s and considering weight loss surgeries and really drastic measures. And since I've lost 70 pounds and I didn't do it that way, I figured I really should share my story and what's working for me. Now, I'm not a doctor and I can't promise that you'll have the exact same results as me, but I would like people to know that there are other possibilities, that you don't have to go drastic and radical and risk your health with things that have not been around long enough, in my feeling, to know how it's going to affect you long term. So, one thing I will say is, I've lost about 70 pounds since February 2025. Okay. And when I started off, for the first couple months, I was doing low carb. Low carb has always worked well for me, and I just lose the weight. But I don't have a gallbladder. I had that removed when I was in my early 20s, so like over half my life ago. And so processing a lot of fat in and out of your body was really hard on me, and I got really sick. And that was expensive because I had to get a lot of tests done. They still haven't figured out what was quite wrong with me. But the second I stopped low carbing, I stopped having the pain. And I would describe it as pancreas or liver pain. And they did all sorts of tests and they were like, nope, there's no reason for you to be in that kind of pain other than having fatty liver. And I was surprised that they weren't concerned about fatty liver, non-alcoholic fatty liver. But they weren't concerned because they're like, well, almost everybody in the United States has this. And that's concerning, right? Um, I have reversed my fatty liver. I have improved my fibromyalgia. I have improved my brain fog, which is part of fibromyalgia, but could also be other things too, and a lot of other things by making some life changes that are very reasonable and doable. Anyone can do this, you guys. Anyone can do it. It doesn't take a lot of willpower. It doesn't take a lot of like convenience stuff. Um, it doesn't take a lot of money or weird hacks and lots of exercise. I really haven't added much in terms of like exercise and things like that to my diet, to my regiment, or my pattern, because I didn't feel like with how big I had gotten that it would be safe to be that active. Either I would hurt myself, like my my skeletal system, or like my joints, or pull a tendon or something. I just knew if I did something drastic, like a bunch of aerobic exercises or something like that, I was going to physically hurt myself. Also, my asthma had gotten so bad that I couldn't go up a few stairs. Um, and that was twofold. It wasn't just because of my weight getting out of control. It was also because I was having problems with my lungs, my respiratory system. But when your body is lighter, it doesn't have to work as hard. And so the side effect of my weight loss has been that my asthma is not as bad. It did not cause my asthma, but I had to work harder to get enough oxygen to go to all my cells. And it's also a lot of work to move that much weight. So I'm sure you guys are curious, how did I lose 70 pounds? So in the beginning, like I said, I had lost a bunch of weight. I would say I lost about maybe 25 to 30 pounds right away. And I did gain a little bit back because I went from really low carb, like almost, I would almost say 10, 15 carbs a day, um, to not low carbing. Um, and so what I replaced it with, which has been more sustainable, um, are a few things. The first is easy. It's intermittent fasting. And I'm not going to send you down a rabbit hole and have you do a bunch of research and calculate this or that, whatever. If you can just increase the time between your first meal and your last meal of the day, or sorry, the last meal of the day and the first meal of the day. So that's how I do it. I try to increase the time between the last meal I have at night to the first meal I have the next day, so that there's actually a fasting period and then I have to break the fast. Okay. So I probably go about 14 to 16 hours. It depends how I feel. So I'm not really strict on it. It's if I'm really hungry, I'm going to have something to eat. If I'm not really hungry, I'm just going to have my cup of coffee and some water. So I normally don't eat breakfast anyway. And always people will say in the past, oh, you need to eat a breakfast, but you have to have breakfast to have energy. That's not true. Um, you should eat when you're hungry. And I don't wake up hungry. I wake up always feeling nauseous, and no, I'm not pregnant. Um, but that's how I've been like my entire life since probably, pre-teenage. It's probably hormones or something. I don't know. So I don't like to eat breakfast, and all I would be doing if I had breakfast would be adding more calories to my day, because by lunch and dinner, I'm still going to be hungry at those times. So I'm not cutting back any calories. The way you gain weight and lose weight really has to do with how much stored energy you take into your body. A lot of people will really push exercise. And I'm not saying exercise isn't important, because it is. Having a good body mass index, having good muscle tone, and being able to do aerobics and stuff like that, that's good. That's really good. You want to be able to do that. That's not going to make the pounds go away. It's going to make what you have underneath get tight and svelte and cute and stuff. And that's important too, right? Because you're going to feel good about it. But if you're trying to get the pounds off, you need to reduce how much you eat. So one of the concerns I had, besides getting myself sick from having the low carb diet, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't do low carb, because it works, but because I don't have a gallbladder, and because I had fatty liver, which low carb is good for it, they say. But my mom made a really good point. My mom struggled with weight her whole life, her whole adult life. Your body has to process the fat you're eating, but it also has to process the fat you are losing. So if you're eating a very fatty diet and you're losing a lot of weight really fast, your body is having to work really hard, and you can hurt yourself. About the GLP-1s, my doctor, who is a nurse practitioner, recommended that I try them. And at the time, I'm glad that they're expensive, because I'm glad I didn't do it. Okay? I'm really glad I didn't do it. So I'm not doing like all these before and after video pictures and stuff like that. But I did a little AI generator to show like approximately the sizes I've gone down from. And so I'm sharing that. But also, I had a very plump double chin, and I still have, like, I'm getting older, so I have my skin, is there, but my double chin is not the way it was before. My neck, okay. Now, I have had a lot of inflammation. I have hypothyroidism, um, And I have fibromyalgia and menopause and all that kind of stuff. So, and as a woman, we have inflammation issues. So, and I'm a very hormonal person. Like, I'm very sensitive. And so, like, if I have a little bit too much salt, I swell up. Um, I'm really sensitive to gluten, to like carbohydrates and stuff like that. And so, a little bit can really make me get puffy. And so the puffy and then like my skin going back down again and then getting puffy again. Weight loss, weight gain, weight loss, weight gain. And age. I've got lines and that's okay. Um, I am moisturizing now. But that's not the point. But like it is not the way it was before. And I'm really happy about that. Even when I used to be anorexic, which I always have to be careful because I don't want to go down that route again. And I am eating people. I'm not eating people. I am eating, comma, people. Period. I am eating. I am just not eating the same number of calories. And I'm not even watching calories, but I'll kind of show you to get an estimate of what I'm doing because I am not micromanaging myself at all. I weigh myself every morning, and if the scale is going up or staying still for too long, I cut back the extra calories that maybe I added recently, or I change the behavior back to what I was doing before if I made any changes. If the scale is going down, I keep doing what I'm doing, right? So it's just cause and effect. And I really haven't paid attention too much to calories. I have paid attention to how I feel after I eat, while I eat slowly, eat less. Um, so this is really casual, you guys. I don't have like lights set up or anything like that. You can't even tell like I have my hair. Yeah. I'm ready for it's like it's bedtime practically, but I thought I'd get on here and talk because um I know people who've had gastric bypass. I know people who are doing GLP-1s or who have tried it. I've known a lot of people who've done some sort of injections in the past, even before GLP-1s. Um, I don't remember what it was called, but a lot of people are trying a weight loss medication that you could get at the store, and then it was like ephedrine. I don't know, something like that. And I remember when I was in college and stuff, my mom was taking it, and then people were dying of heart attacks and stuff. And so I had just started taking it, and I didn't need it, but you know how we are. We always think we need to lose weight. Um, and people were dying. So I was thinking about this the other day, and I was watching that one Matlock show. Um, and I with the Bates lady, I just love her. And she's lost so much weight because she did the GLP-1s. Well, what I've seen in my research, because I was researching it because I don't want to do injections. I'll be honest with you, but I was researching it and I was cynical because I don't want to do injections, and I was looking for problems. Now, I don't see a lot of people talking about the problems that they're having with GLP-1s. I'm going to guess, I'm going to predict that the information will come out later. Okay? Um if something seems too good to be true, it probably is. They're definitely losing the weight. I mean you see it. Like people who couldn't lose weight are losing weight. But how long are they going to live? And they have to take apparently they have to take these injections for the rest of their lives because um if they stop doing them, then they will gain the weight back. And that's something that I found to be true of every diet I ever did. The only diet that really worked for me was any version of low carb, which would be like I've done Atkins, keto, South Beach. like the caveman paleo diets. I've done all of those, and I've done combinations of them, and I just did like low glycemic. Um, so what I am doing is a little bit low glycemic, but it really isn't because I have bread. Um, I'll eat oatmeal. Um, I have whatever I want to do. I have whatever I want. I just don't have as much. And I really think about everything I eat. And not in a neurotic way, like where it's a guilt stuff. It's just like I look at it and I go, that's a lot of calories. Like if, let's say, the teachers have we call it Fat Friday. We don't do it that much anymore, which probably is helping me. It used to be every Friday morning, people would bring in donuts or bagels and cream cheese, and maybe somebody would make some hash browns or something, or scrambled eggs or something. Um, that only happens a couple times a month now, if maybe once a month. Sometimes it's breakfast, sometimes it's lunch or a snack. Um, and I'll go and I'll look and I'll make a decision. I won't do a little bit of everything like I used to. I would, because like before I'd be like, oh, I want a little bit of this. I'll just cut a piece of that, just have a little bit of that. And I wasn't eating more than anybody else. But my metabolism is not like everybody else. I mean, I would watch like all the skinny people and all the normal sized people, and I would see people carrying like two plates with them back to their rooms, and I'm assuming that they ate them both, um, or saved some for later or something. But like heaping plates, and I never did the heaping platefuls of stuff. I never sat and just mindlessly ate a bunch of food, but I have a slow metabolism. And it's probably genetic to keep my people alive in the cold areas of like Norway or something. Or also with menopause. My theory is that, you know, older women, our metabolism slows down because in those days, maybe we outlived our husband, and maybe the young warriors didn't want to waste food feeding infertile women. And so I think about that and it's like, okay, well, that makes sense. It's my body's way of trying not to die. And that's okay. But I don't want to be heavy. It's not comfortable. I wasn't meant to be. I remember some people in my family saying, "Oh, I'm big boned or something." I'm not big boned. I've seen my X-rays. I've got little bones. Like I am petite. Um, and it was just interesting. It's like the people who said that to me are big boned, and they looked at me and maybe I was chubby, and they're like, "Oh, well, you're big boned." Well, I was hearing those things said to me when I was skinny. I weighed 113 pounds, 5'5". And I was technically, by the doctor, told me I was 12 pounds underweight, which is not natural for me. It would take me starving myself to be underweight. And so they weren't concerned because I wasn't that much underweight. Um, like you couldn't see my bones, like you, whatever. I was a nice size and I got a lot of compliments back then. And that was very dangerous because the more compliments I got, the more I starved myself. And I didn't just starve myself. I ran like 5 times a day. Um, I worked out like constantly. It wasn't just like once a day, it was like all day. I would have a snack, feel guilty, go take a run. I would come back and then, and a snack might be literally one fig Newton, or half a carrot. like, um, and then I'd feel guilty and I'd do crunchies all night or something. So I'm not like that anymore. I like my body way more than I did when I was in my teens and early 20s. Even though I'm heavy, I'm much more confident about myself and I feel better in my skin. I did not feel better in my skin 70 pounds ago. I felt um, uncomfortable at nighttime. I would have like this reaction, I don't know, like to carbs or something. Like my abdomen would swell and put pressure and it would get like hard. And I would have so much pain. And the doctors, like I said, they didn't really figure anything out. I don't think they really cared. I don't think they cared. Um, Something is going on with me. So I'll say, okay, well, if they don't care about my health, I'm going to have to do something for myself. Now, what they did tell me to do, which I think is horrible advice, telling somebody who weighed over 300 pounds, and I just barely, okay, and not for very long, but I crossed the 300 point boundary. And the morning I weighed myself and I saw that number, I like lost my bleep. I lost my bleep. I saw that number and I got so depressed. But it was a big wake up call. And if I hadn't crossed that number, I probably wouldn't have lost 70 pounds by now. I probably would have lost like 2 or 3. But when I crossed that number, I went, no, no. I have an aunt who I think might have reached 400 pounds, and she died probably 20 years younger than she should have. And because women in my family usually live to be 90 or 92. So it's very sad because she was like the world's sweetest aunt, and I just loved her so much. And I don't want to be that person who has a short life because of something that we can, to some extent, control. I can't control that I have a slower metabolism. I can't control that I have fibromyalgia or hypothyroidism or menopause or any of those other things that I have. But losing weight does have the side effect of making me feel better in all those other ways too. For instance, with menopause, I am regulating my hormones. Well, it's a little bit easier to do that when you're not morbidly obese. Your body weight also affects how much of the medications you need, which means your body, your organs, which don't change that much in size when you lose weight, are not having to have the same amount of medications affecting them as they would if you weighed 70 pounds more. So it is way less stressful for the body to process, let's say, 50 mcgs. So yeah, the body, it's a lot easier for your body to handle less medication, because as your weight goes down, the medications will go down too. And a lot of medications have side effects, especially if you're taking them for a long period of time, if you have to be on them for the rest of your life. So that's one of the reasons why I don't take medications for fibromyalgia, is because the side effects cause all kinds of like organ problems, even organ failure, if you're on them for a really long time. So I decided I wasn't going to do that. Same reason I decided I'm not going to do GLPs. And I was going to tell you what the doctor said. The doctor said when I weighed over 300 pounds, she said, you need to work out for like an hour a day, maybe 45 minutes, half an hour minimum every day of your life. And she said, you need to work out so hard that your heart races and you sweat. God bless her. She has a medical degree. But if you're morbidly obese and I'm not going to say you shouldn't listen to your own doctor, okay? I need a new person. Her expertise, excuse me, her expertise is going to be for hormones only and not for everything else. That's what she's changing to. So I'm going to let her tell me what she's a professional for, and I don't think it's for weight loss. I think it is hard for somebody also. I went to a nutritionist. And the nutritionist she's beautiful, very skinny, has never had a weight problem. And the first thing she told me was low carb, so all glycemic, no gluten, no dairy. And I looked at her and I was like, what do you want me to do? Eat ice chips? Like, I can't have bread. I can't have like processed carbs. And I can't have any kind of dairy. I'm not lactose intolerant. Why would I cut dairy out of my diet if I was low carbing? If I was low carbing, like, so she like low carbs, she does like paleo without meat. So like she's like a vegetarian, vegan, low carb paleo person. And I'm like, what's left? What can you actually eat that's going to be normal? Can you ever go out to eat again? Can you go hang out with friends? Do you have to bring a little snack baggie with you in your purse and be weird? Um, I want a normal life. I want to be able to like go out with my friends or my family and celebrate things and go to someone's birthday party and not be like, oh, well, does that, can I see the ingredients on that? I mean, it makes sense if you have allergies, but it doesn't make sense if it's just about weight. You can have a piece of cake, have a small piece of cake, right? You can have a brownie. You can have a small brownie. You can't have a piece of cake and a brownie. Choose, make a decision. Which of these do you want today? So what do I eat? Okay. So we've established that I'm not entirely low carb, but I am lower carb and I am lower calorie than I was before. I'm not low calorie. I'm not low carb, but I'm lower calorie and lower carb than I was before. If you're trying to lose weight and you only need to have a deficit, you do not have to have an extreme deficit. And I have this breakthrough moment where I realized if I go from this extreme to that extreme, once I get to a plateau, what do I have to do to break through it? I've already gone the extreme, right? But if you're at this extreme, you don't have to starve yourself. You can just lower your intake and your weight's going to go down. And when you plateau, you lower your intake again because now you don't need as much food to support this body because this body now is smaller. So you need more calories to support a bigger body, right? You're hungry for them because your body needs to get energy to move all of that weight you're carrying. And every cell in your body needs energy, even the cells that are excess. So if your body weight is here, you only need to decrease your caloric intake or your food intake. Don't even have to count your calories, just your portion sizes. You just enough that the scale is going down. That's why I weigh myself every day because I want to see, is the scale going down? If it's going down, I don't need to do anything different. If it's staying the same and I was being a little bit naughty on the holidays, that's good. That's success for me. You know what? During Christmas and New Year's, which was also in between Christmas and New Year's, was the first anniversary of me and my ex not having an anniversary for our marriage. Technically still married, but we're not together. So that was hard. That was stressful. That was emotional. Think of the cortisol going through my body that was fighting me. When you have cortisol, that hormone is fighting you, trying to make you keep the weight because it's saying there's a saber-toothed tiger or a blunt-nosed bear about to eat you. You better stay in that cave. Don't go out and go get food. You're going to need to keep every fat cell you have as plump as possible. And that cortisol is making it difficult for your body to lose weight. It is a way to save your life. if we lived in a time where you needed to be fat to make it through the winter time. And we don't live in that time right now. The other thing as I think about is, what if SHTF happens and you got um, a surgery, gastric bypass, to prevent you from eating, and then crap happens and you have to eat a lot of food that's low calorie. If you have gastric bypass, you can only eat a couple ounces at a time throughout the day. And if you're eating mostly really low calorie stuff, you have to eat a lot. So you could die from having gastric bypass from starvation. And I'm going to tell you, my mom had a friend when we lived in Germany who she was in a group with called TOPS, Take Off Pounds Sensibly. And she was in that group with her. And her friend would often talk to my mom in front of me. I was little, 8 to 10 years old. And she'd talk about how her family was, heavy and stuff. And one of her sisters was like 600 pounds. And her mom was one of the first people who got gastric bypass. She weighed probably around 600 pounds when she got that bypass. And she died. I think she weighed like 88 pounds. On her death certificate, they put down complications with obesity. She weighed 88 pounds. She could not keep weight on. She was very sick and she died from that surgery. Yes, the surgeries have improved. However, I've known several people who have gotten that surgery and they lost weight at first and then they started gaining it back because it's changing your anatomy, but it's not changing your behavior. It's not changing your brain and your patterns, your emotions, your feelings, and all that kind of stuff. So, what happens to you, what you do, affects your feelings, and your feelings affect your behavior. And if you get something like that where you have gastric bypass and you can only eat small amounts, you're going to learn the loopholes that allows you to eat the things you want to eat if your mind is in that same place. So over time, a lot of people gain back like about half of what they lost. Still probably a good thing that they lost the weight. And if that's the only way you can lose weight, then do it. If you weigh, 600 pounds, they might not even do the surgery for you because it's so much. It's dangerous to have surgery at that high of a weight. But do what you need to do, right? Because you want to be healthy. For me, that's drastic. I don't want to have a weight loss surgery. I don't want to have to inject myself with things. Like, I'm not taking the medications for fibromyalgia because of what it could do to me. So why would I then take a weight loss medication that we don't know the long-term effects for? I will be honest. I have tried in the past. There was like a appetite suppressant. I don't remember what it was. It was over the counter. Pop a comment if you know what I'm talking about. It's you can go to the grocery store and they probably still have it. It just basically made you feel full. When I was in my 20s, I took that, and I found out from a friend of a friend that all you really need to do is eat a handful of almonds before you eat, and my mom also said to have a glass of water. So if you're feeling like you're gonna like eat more than you need to, have 5 to 10 almonds and you're going to feel full. I can't eat 10 almonds. 5 almonds probably will make me feel full. 10 almonds and I don't feel good. I've always been like that though. So I'm not the one to sit down and eat a bunch of almonds. Especially if they're raw, I can't do it. I don't even think that's safe. Some people eat raw almonds. I don't. So my point about the weight loss, I don't want to do something really drastic that hurts my body that I can't undo. I want to undo what I did with overeating, which to some extent was not entirely my fault. and I'll kind of explain that in a second. But I want to undo that. I don't want to then turn around and cause myself other problems. So intermittent fasting, I can control. If I don't feel good, if I want to go 12 hours or 16 hours, it doesn't have to be the same every time. It's flexible with my life. I'm making the choice to let it be flexible, that I can have a good life. If I get invited out to have lunch, I'm going to go out to lunch. If I get invited to go to bring my kids to Chuck E. Cheese, I'm going to go to Chuck E. Cheese and I'm going to have a slice of pizza. One slice of pizza. I'm going to have the salad bar. One serving of salad bar. I'm not going to go get seconds because I can, because it's a good deal. I'm going to get one helping of the salad bar. I'm going to get one piece of pizza. And if I have soda, it's going to be diet. I know the next step of my journey is to cut out all of like the fake sweeteners. I don't know if I'm going to do it or not, because I'd have to replace it with something and I'd miss it. I don't have diet sodas in my house, but if I'm out and everybody else's house is having pop and they're having beer, I have a diet soda. Okay. My doctor recently told me, a different doctor said, don't put lemon in your water all the time. For us ladies, as we're getting older, it can lead to incontinence in your older age. So be careful with adding lemon to your water all the time. So I'm like, yeah, I don't want to have that. So let's go ahead and cut back on that and just make sure I get enough vitamin C. I'm not counting calories. That being said, I know you're going to want to know how many calories I have. So basically, I don't eat a ton of fruit, but I think of fruit as my candy. So instead of eating candy, which I barely ever do, if someone gives me candy, I'll eat one piece of it a day. Like I had a really sweet friend who gave me a box of chocolates for Christmas, and I doled it out like one piece a day, and I also shared it with my kids. So then they are still eating it, because the first layer is gone. The second layer they've been working on, apparently. So it's been really nice. I enjoyed my one a day. That was enough. I'd have my cup of coffee, which I'll tell you about my coffee because it's like amazing. I'd have my cup of coffee and have my one little, my one little cookie or my one little piece of chocolate, and I would just nibble on it and enjoy it. The flavor in your mouth is what you like, right? And if you put the whole thing in your mouth at once and swallow it and have 5 more, you just increased how much calories you had, not how much you enjoyed it. So I'm going to enjoy it and I'm going to have one. Okay. If I'm really wanting candy, I will have one piece of hard candy, like a butterscotch. Yes, it's like a little old lady, a butterscotch, or a spicy cinnamon. Guess where you can get them? The Dollar Tree. You get 25 to 30 pieces of candy for $1.25. So it's cheap, it's portioned, and I only have it because I have a classroom and I give them out as prizes. And every once in a while, I'm like, I really want something junky, and I'll have one spicy cinnamon candy or one butterscotch, and that's it. It's willpower. It's discipline. Like I've said before in a different video, discipline is how you're going to lose the weight and keep it off. If you are relying on a surgery or a medication to lose the weight, eventually you will find a way back to the behavior that was the root of your problems. Okay, so I said that my overeating was not entirely my fault. And that was because I am not a good cook. And sometimes other people would cook and they would plate for everybody. And this person always plated too much for me. And I would say, this is like 4 meals for me. It should probably be like more like 8 meals. Like it's like a big plate and then like heaping. And I would say, I want to save some of this for tomorrow. Well, I'd probably eat half of it, save half of it for the next day. The reality is, if I was serving myself, I would have served myself at least 75% less than what I was being given. And the problem was that if I did start bagging it up for the next day or for a couple days for lunch, the person they'd get butthurt about it. They'd have feelings about it and feel like I was um, disparaging their cooking or something. Like it was an insult. It wasn't an insult. I was like making all the yummy noises. This is so good. It's a lot though. And my stomach, I felt full. And then I would try to eat it to not hurt their feelings because it would hurt their feelings. So now that things are different now, the lives are different and not together. Um, I plate myself. And I know the other day I made lasagna and I cut the tray of lasagna into 15. I did 3 rows and I did like 5 on 3 rows. So it's 15 servings. And after everybody had dinner, they had garlic bread and whatever. I put the leftovers, one per Ziploc baggie, and I put some in the fridge and some in the freezer. And my daughter's like, "That's a serving." And I was like, "Yeah, that's what a serving size should be. We should be getting about 15 servings out of one tray of lasagna. That should be enough for a family of 5 to have 3 meals each person. Or it's enough for 15 people to have one serving." And believe it or not, as big as I still am, which is above what's normal or what's healthy for my body size, um, I've been packing my frozen lasagna piece for lunch, like since I made that meal. So today and yesterday, um, and the day before for dinner, and the day before. So like the last 4 days, I've either had lasagna for dinner or lunch, depending what meal I needed to do. And it's about 400 calories. So like a normal piece of lasagna, okay, and I did deep, and it's like about that big, that thick, and about that wide. So it's like a solid rectangle, not a square, a rectangle. Okay. The size portion that I would usually want is about twice as much as I should have had. And nobody would have begrudged me that. How much I had on my plate was never more than anybody else. But I have a slow metabolism. Okay. My body's saying, save me. You're going to starve to death. No one's going to feed you because you're old. Okay. So, you're not fertile anymore. No one's gonna feed you. You better hurry up and get fat so that you'll survive the winter. Okay. So my little one piece of lasagna, about 400 calories. And I'd heat it up, I'd eat it nice and hot at school. Absolutely perfect meal. Perfect meal. I've got vegetables in there. I chop up red bell peppers and onions. And so I've got a lot of veggies in there, like a ton. I add a ton of veggies in there. I use the full fat beef because it's like half price, but then I dump most of the fat off of it. Okay. Um, I do have the ricotta, mozzarella, parmesan. It has the regular noodles. It's not low carb in any way, shape, or form. That is a 400 calorie meal, and definitely very satisfying. I did not feel like I had less than I needed. For breakfast, I had my 1 cup of coffee and a banana. And then for dinner tonight, I took a piece of sourdough bread, this big, okay, big piece, that I got from Winco. I broke it in half. I put it in the toaster. I put mayonnaise on both sides, mustard on one side. I added a generous amount of turkey or chicken deli meat. Yeah, it's deli meat. I know it has nitrates. Nitrates. It's not good for you. That part's not good for you. It would have been better if I had gotten like a rotisserie chicken or better yet, had cooked some chicken and had it fresh, but who cares? So, I had that. I had a little container, little black container that I got from almost a Timu Daiso, and I filled that container with my pickles. I like the sweet pickles, and they have carbs. Having it in a little container keeps my bread from getting all wet and soggy, and it also helps me to realize that I don't need to have half a jar of pickles because I want to have half a jar of pickles. I really like them. I would much rather have a jar of pickles than have a bag of potato chips. I also did a handful of potato chips. Okay. So I had one piece of bread. It was big, cut in half. Okay. Toasted with my fixins and all of that. I guarantee you my weight's not going to be up tomorrow. Okay. That sandwich with the chips and the pickles was probably about 600 calories. So the 600 calories for my dinner, um, 400 calories for my lunch, with 100 calories for the banana. For my coffees, probably we're going to round up. I had 2 cups of coffee today, so we'll say 300 calories. So that's 1,400 calories. I had 2 hard candies today. I think they were like 25 calories. Anyway, I'm going to show you guys this calorie thing that you can look up to see how many calories you should have to lose weight based on your current weight. Like I was saying before, you don't want to go from here to here because, yes, you're going to lose that 20 pounds. Boom. Okay. And then you're going to plateau and get stuck. And now what do you have to do? If you're only having 800 calories or something crazy, you have nowhere. What are you going to do? You're going to work out 24/7 and cut your calories in half again. And then next time you plateau, do that again. You cut the minimum number of calories it takes to see your scale moving. And yes, it means you're going to lose weight slower, but who cares? It's about sustainability. Do you want to lose 100 pounds and then in a year later gain it back again? I don't. I want this to be the last time I have to lose weight. I don't want to ever have to feel bad about myself again and like try to figure out what's going to work again and have to go from here to here again. I want maybe it goes up a little bit and then down a little bit and up a little bit. I don't want to have these extremes anymore. I don't want to have to like do this crazy fanatical, whatever. This needs to be my last weight loss journey and then stay at the arrival point. Stay there, right? And keep it good. So hopefully this will be your last weight loss journey too. So again, you want to decrease your intake as small as possible where you are still losing weight. And that way when you plateau, you can reevaluate. Well, now you're smaller, so you don't need as many calories. So can we have a little bit less calories? Yes, we can. The weight will go down again. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and show you now some of the things I have. And also, I eat kids' meals. I eat kids' meals a lot. I usually get away with it too because I'll do that at places like the mall, Burger King, like Panda Express. The kids' meals is the way to go. If I get an adult meal, I don't eat the whole thing. I will save at least half to 75% of it and bring it home and either give it to my son or save it for lunch the next day. But so I do not eat a whole adult meal ever anymore. Adult meals, honestly, I think most of the adult meals out like at a restaurant or something is probably the equivalent of 4 adult meals, what they're supposed to be. So if you eat out a lot, you're going to gain weight. If you have a busy life like I do and you stop by a convenience place, it's not bad for your family either to cut the calories. For instance, every once in a while, we'll go to Dairy Queen and we'll buy a meal. And I do the $7 meals at Dairy Queen. The $7 meals comes with a couple, like I think it's like 3 chicken strips, the fries, the gravy for the chicken strips, a soda, and an ice cream. And I never get the ice cream. I get the code that you can ask them for a coupon code, because my idea is one day I'm going to have like some kind of Sunday party. Having an ice cream sundae after you've had French fries, a soda, and chicken strips is way too many calories. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it when I was heavier. I couldn't do it now. So I save the coupon codes and I figure on a hot day in the summertime, I'll go and get a bunch of sundaes for like everybody. So I save those codes. Um, I would usually eat 2 of the chicken strips. I would dip it in the gravy. Yum, 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 yum. Eat a few of the French fries, a few. And my younger son would say, Mom, I'm still hungry. And I'd give him the rest of my fries. And if I was feeling generous, my 3rd chicken strip. Sometimes I say no if I'm really hungry. But I always get a diet soda, or if somebody else was asking for a soda, I don't really need it. I would say, can I get a tap water? I would drink the tap water and I would give my soda to someone else. So I would save money that way. A lot of times, because we're budgeting, I would split the meal. So let's say I'm coming home and I have $7 and plus tax, probably $8, right? So I would give my son the soda, the fries, a chicken strip. I'd have 2 chicken strips. That's it. He doesn't like the gravy. So I have 2 chicken strips and the gravy. He would get the rest. And then he'd go home and I would nuke him or microwave him a few more chicken nuggets, the dinosaur nuggets at home. So that's what we would do if we're like really, really tight at Burger King. I will do, it's not just like a regular kids meal. Right now they have a promo. It's like $4 or $5. I think it's $4.99. It's called like the King Kids Meal. It comes with a cheeseburger, a small fry, a small drink, and like I want to say a treat. So it can either be a prize, which is the default. They'll just give you a prize, or you can get a cookie. Well, my son doesn't want the treat, the toy, so I tell them I like a cookie, but I don't eat the cookie. I give it to my son. So the kids meal soda is like this big. I say no ice. I like Coke Zero, please. If he wanted a you pick 2, I would give him the $5. You pick 2. He would get the chicken fries and the French fries. I'd give him my soda and my cookie and half of my fries. I would eat my cheeseburger and half of the fries. So I think they say, and I'm going to link the websites. They say that the Cheeseburger King Junior meal is $5.39 and it has 723 calories, but not the way I do it. So, like I said, they're counting like a drink, which could be milk or juice or soda, the hamburger, and the fries. They're not counting the cookie because most people get the little present, the toy. So if you take off the soda, take off half the fries, take off the cookie, I'm sitting at about 600 calories for that. Sometimes I don't even have the fries at all. I'll just have the hamburger, the cheeseburger. And you know what? That's perfectly enough for me. Like just takes off the edge so I don't go crazy and get a Whopper meal or something. So a kid's cheeseburger, my son eats the fries and has a soda, has his $5 meal. So for $10, $10, 2 people can eat at Burger King. And it's definitely enough calories. It's definitely enough. The other place that I would eat, And it's not every day, you guys. Okay, this is like for like really convenient, super hungry. No way I'm gonna be able to have time to make something or something. At Panda Express. Sometimes I would go for the bowl, but if I'm gonna go with kids meal, the the fried rice in the regular meal is 620 calories. 620 calories for the fried rice. To me, I'm telling you right now, it's not worth it. If for 620 calories, I can have a hamburger or a cheeseburger, or I can have a piece of lasagna, or I can have chicken strips. Like to me, like I like rice, but not 620 calories worth of rice. The kids meal portion of rice is 466 calories for fried rice. The steamed rice is 520 for a regular meal, 390 for a kids meal. So for a kids meal, almost 400 calories for the portion of rice they give you. That's kind of a lot. But and I'm going to link this for you too, so you can look at the website. If I was looking at just a kids meal and the portion of a side that I would most likely go with, I'm going to click on the website and say low calories. The rice, it will automatically get rid of chow mein and rice. Now you can do the super greens. There's no way in the world I'm going to do the super greens. Let's be honest. Okay. I have problems with cruciferous. I can't have a lot of it. First of all, do Google it yourself because people don't believe me. I have hypothyroidism. Cruciferous vegetables are not good for people with hypothyroidism. It inhibits um, the the um, the thyroid. So it's okay to have a little bit, but I'm not craving them anyway. So like if I had a salad chopped up in a salad, yes, please. I don't really like steamed vegetables like that. I like it to be in a salad. So I don't want to pay for the super greens. The super greens would have been the right way to go. They're only 130 calories for the meal portion and 90 calories for the kids meal portion. So you're saving a lot of calories if you go with the super greens instead of with rice or chow mein. I would go with the white sticky rice. It's about 400 calories. But then for my entree, because you only get one with the kids meal, I would probably do the black pepper chicken is 200 calories flat, 280 for the full size side if you're doing a full size meal, but 200 for a kids meal. So black pepper chicken is good. Kung Pao chicken's only 220. I love Kung Pao chicken. I like the consistency of the spicy peanuts in with the chicken meat and stuff, so it's really yummy. So I would do the Kung Pao chicken for 220 calories and the rice for 390. So just around 600 calories, you get a whole meal. Believe it or not, that is, once you get used to it, that is enough food. Okay. Then I'm going to pop on over to Safeway. On Safeway, I just pulled up the bean and cheese El Monterey burritos, the frozen ones. And the reason I chose those is because from time to time, I will pack my little lunch for school. And I would usually pack two, but I would usually only eat one. And if I find where did it go? Okay, they have 7 grams of protein for each one. And then, okay, hold on. The caloric intake is 200. So it's 200 calories. It has 33 grams of carbs minus 3 grams of fiber. So that's 30 net carbs, 4 grams of fat. So ideally, I'd only have one of these because it is, even though it's only 200 calories, it is higher in carbs. So I would probably do one of the burritos. I would have an apple. I'd have a banana. I'd probably have a little handful of peanuts because they're cheap. And I wouldn't have it all at once, but I'd have it all between the hours of around 12:30 And then I stop eating after dinner, let's say 6 o'clock. Okay. Then I'm going to pop on over to the calculator.net. Calculator.net is really cool. If you click on fitness and health, they have like some paid parts of it and a sign in. I don't click on that. I just click on the one that says fitness and health. Um, and if you put in your weight and height, it will calculate for you how much you should eat to lose weight, how much weight you want to have. So for my current weight, which I'm not going to tell you what it is, shh, okay, later when I'm smaller again. So looking at my calories per day, I can have around 2,400 calories a day and stay the weight I'm at. I am not eating anywhere close to 2,400. Okay. If I want to lose 2 pounds a month, which is half a pound a week, I can take that down to just under 2,200 calories a day. Okay. That's very healthy and very sustainable. It's also really hard to measure half a pound a week because that could be water weight. That could be anything. So it's hard to know that you're really losing weight, or you just had a bowel movement. Okay. Weight loss. Sorry, yeah, I went there. A pound a week is way more manageable to figure out if you're really meeting it, because if that's 4 pounds, maybe 5. Um, if I keep my calories under 1,900 calories a day, then I will lose about a pound a week, which I've been losing about 4 or 5 pounds a month now. So I'm around 1,900 calories. I think I'm actually a lot lower than that. You kind of saw how I mapped it out, how I said my average big meal of the day is 600 calories, and my average regular meal is 400 calories. That's 1,000 calories. Then I have, that's only 1,000 calories. Then I have like an apple, an orange, a banana, 2 cups of coffee, and a bunch of water. So to lose more 2 pounds a week, I need to go to 1,400 calories. I probably am around 1,400 right now. So I should be losing about twice as much as I am. But I told you, I'm in menopause. I have hypothyroidism. And I've always had a slower metabolism. So if you were to cut your calories, now this is cutting the calories by 1,000 a day, because if it says here that I could have 2,400 calories a day and maintain the weight I'm at, or lose 2 pounds a week and go to 1,400, that means cutting out 1,000 calories. Okay, that's a lot of calories to cut for what I already had. Okay, so I'm at 1,400. There's no way for me to cut 1,000 calories. I would starve to death eventually. If I was cutting out 1,000 calories, I would literally only have the equivalent of like one piece of lasagna a day for the entire day, because my calorie intake right now is probably around 14 to 1,800 calories. I'm gonna guesstimate. Um, some days a little bit more, some days a little bit less. So I'm going to link that calorie.net for you. And again, the tab you want is the fitness and health tab. And you're going to put in your weight and your height and kind of what you're trying to lose. And it will map out for you what calories are you probably having now and how do you need to cut it down to lose weight. Now, for me, I'm going to tell you, I rely on the scale. So I will go weigh myself every morning. If it's the same one day, the same the next day, the same the next day, I need to know, I need to cut more out. But if it's like the same today as tomorrow and then a little bit less, and then the same and the same and a little bit less, I'm still good. I'm going to keep going with what I'm doing. If I'm losing at least a pound a week, it'd be nice if I lost 2, but a pound a week is great. It's probably a little bit more than a pound a week. So that's where I am. I'm trying to keep it sustainable so I don't want to yo-yo. Also, my theory is that the whole skin issue, like extra skin, if you gain and lose weight really rapidly, your body doesn't have enough time to adjust and like kind of shrink back and like molds to yourself. And so I don't want to have loose skin. So losing 4 or 5 pounds a month is actually giving my body time to recover. Another thing I've been doing, and I don't know if it's working or if it's a placebo effect, I've been using like this yam lotion. I was using that first on my face and my neck. I didn't put it on my chest because it has hormones, and I don't know how that could be like breast cancer or something. My son is like whispering what I'm saying. It's weird. Um, and then I saw a commercial for this Go Pure like neck cream stuff because I really show age right here, 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 right there, right here, especially like right here, and then my neck, my under chin, and my neck, and the backs of my hands. So that's where I show a lot of aging, probably because I spend a lot of time outside in the sunshine. Whenever it's summertime, I'm out there gardening. So I got the Go Pure cream, and I didn't take a before picture, but I can tell you right now that this skin was way creepier, and it's starting to get that more youthful, subtle, supple feeling to it. I feel like I've turned back the clock on my down like below here by like 10 years by now. And I've been using the cream. I think I've used like half a jar so far. Um, so I'm going to keep doing that. And I can't swear by it. It might be the placebo effect. Um, but I saw the difference when I started using the Go Pure. I'm still using the yam cream because it makes my skin feel really good. Um, and it kind of feels nourishing. It feels like it just feels nice. And then the Go Pure, I put it on my under chin and neck. Whatever I have left, I put on the backs of my hands. Or if there's a little bit left, I'll just, whatever. I'm not going to waste it. It's expensive. I'm going to use every drop of that stuff. I'm definitely going to buy it again. For the yam stuff, it's a great moisturizer. And the yam type lotions have like progesterone. So you should talk to a doctor if you are on like hormone therapies, or either way, you should tell them what you're using, even if it's for your skin, because there could be like hormonal stuff going on. So I use those two products. Um, One thing I've been talking about, uh, retraining myself, is that rewards don't have to be food. Rewards can be, oh, I really enjoy all of your senses. I like the way things smell. So if I'm gonna treat myself, maybe it's gonna be something that's aromatic. So maybe it's gonna be not cheap perfume, but a perfume, maybe a small perfume I really like. And I am very cheap, you guys. I will not buy expensive stuff. But like Bath and Body Works, they had a sale. It was extremely frugal. When I went to the mall with my kids, I got a few little things at Bath and Body Works that were on sale, and I love the smell of things. It doesn't have to be food that you're smelling. It could be something floral, or I love the smell of pine. I love the smell of tomato plants. Um, if you crush the tomato leaves and smell it, it just smells like a pine tree to me. I love it. So I love that kind of stuff. It doesn't have to be this sense. It could be your sense of smell, sight, sound, texture, how things feel. Um, so reward yourself in different ways that are not expensive and that are not going to be detrimental to your health, like overeating. So I wanted to point out, though, I was telling you about the fast food. I'm not recommending that you eat fast food. I really want to make sure that that's clear. I'm just saying, like, you can have a normal life, and like, if you have to stop somewhere, you don't have to like watch everybody else eat. You can have something. It will just be a smaller portion of that. For instance, the other day I went with a friend, Reba the gardening artist, and we went to Panera. And we would usually do the you pick two because it's a good deal. Um, and I would get like the sesame chicken salad, substitute balsamic for the sesame dressing. I would get like the little chicken salad sandwich. And if you get a drink, you get like half price on a Danish. So I would usually do that. That would be my cheat meal for the whole week. Okay. My cheat meal for the whole week. And then we went there the last time and I said, I really don't have enough money for that whole thing. What if we asked them if they would let us do the You Pick Two where we both get salads? And they said yes. So we both got salads. I got my favorite little salad, and they asked what side we want. And we said, well, we'll just get the baguette and split it. They gave us both that little half baguette each. They didn't split the half of a half. So that was nice. And we got water. We didn't get a Danish. We didn't get a soda or a tea or coffee or whatever. So we saved a lot of money. We only had to pay like $10 each. We sat by the fireplace. We drank our water. We had our really, the salads there are amazing. They're so flavorful and complex. They are an experience. Like, there's all different kinds of leafy greens. The flavor, like I have the balsamic in there, so it kind of gives you that caprese salad sense. There's chicken, so there's protein. It's healthy. I felt good about it. And that's something I want to start doing too, is eating things I feel good that I did for myself. It's not like, oh, I just didn't cheat. It's like I feel good that that stuff is in my body, nourishing me. So when I normally am eating something, or if I'm choosing what I'm going to have, I do think of like, it's not just about calories. It's also like, with those calories, are they empty? Or are they going to give me something that I need? If I'm craving something sour, it's probably because I need some vitamin C. So is that sour thing I'm going to be eating, does it have vitamin C in it? If I'm craving something savory, I probably need some protein or some iron. And does that have iron? Does it have protein in it? If I'm craving something starchy, maybe I need potassium, because a lot of the starchy foods I like contain potassium. So you start to figure out what are your cravings really for. It's not really for the food, you guys. Your brain is a mysterious thing, but it's trying to get you to eat the things that you are deficient in. So we've been tricked because they have hired food scientists to engineer food that makes your brain think it's getting what it needs from it. And it's not. And your brain might stop thinking, I need that. And you might continue to be deficient in something that your body needs. So if I have a craving, I indulge it, but I find the thing that it most likely is related to. So, anyways, I'll share more with you in the future. I'm going to post those links that I discussed with you, and I'll show you more of my progress later. I'm really like shy about images and stuff, but I've lost about 70 pounds since February. So, people, this is working for me. I hope it works for you. Oh, also, what's that thing that they do like this? What's that thing called? When they take those rocks and they go like that. What is it called? You told me the other day. They use those rocks. People use like these rocks, and then they put like lotion on sometimes, and then they're like that. Did I tell you that? Yeah, you did. Because you said that I was looking smaller on my face and neck, and you asked me what I was doing. So I've been doing that myself. So I put on my lotion, and then I'll go like this, and I'll do it for a good amount of time. And like my face would normally get really puffy, and I would just and I you it's good to have lotion on when you do that, because otherwise you're pulling the skin and it can make you look older. But I put the lotion on, and I would do just with my own hands, just like that. And I would do it on my neck, like that. And then when I put my lotion on, I would do like that. And it's probably doing something to the lymphatic system or something. I don't know. But it really does seem to be working, because my face is really puffy, and it's not nearly as puffy as it was before. And like my under chin, I mean, I look like I'm getting older, but I'm used to having a big double chin. So it's kind of like the German part of my family that has that. So anyway, do what you're going to do. But also, I'm going to be kind of navigating through incorporating my garden into the weight loss and recipes using stuff from the garden, and maybe do some of that kind of like some videos on cooking and stuff. I'm not good at cooking, by the way. It'll be more about like portioning, maybe. My lasagna's busting though. It is good. And if you have a small piece, you still feel satisfied. It's so filling and delicious. Anyway, be good, be sweet, go garden if you want to eat. And then I'll see you next time. Hope that you got something out of this. Bye.